Hello, everybody. My name is Mike McDonald. I am the president of Kidventure Camps here in Houston, in Texas, and I want to welcome everybody here today. Thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate your time and you taking some time out of your day to listen to our live stream. And we are streaming on the Kidventure site as well as our group page and YouTube. I'm getting a message though that maybe we're having a little error on that. Let me just check real quick, make sure we're in there. Bear with me 2 seconds, everybody. All right. Okay, I think we're up. I think we're having trouble with the Facebook page, but we are on YouTube, so we are posting the YouTube link on the Facebook page. If you want to go over to YouTube and watch the live version of this, that would be great. We're also going to be recording this, and we will post that as well. But with me today, I'm joined by 3 guests from Kidventure, all from all 3 cities that we run summer camp. And I'll turn my attention to our first guest, and that is Molly Bent. Molly, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Molly Bent. I am the Austin Camp Coordinator. I'm super excited for the summer. This will be my 9th summer with Kidventure. I'm super excited for all the fun, new things we have for y'all in Austin.
Molly, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Joining us from Dallas is Ryan Isbrecht. Ryan, how are you?
I'm good, Mike. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks very much. I appreciate your time today.
Absolutely. As Mike said, my name is Ryan Isbrecht. I'm the camps coordinator for DFW. I'm going into my 14th summer with Kidventure, and I know myself and my kids are very excited for all the things we have planned.
How are your kids doing, by the way, Ryan?
They're doing great. They're wearing their Kidventure shirts to school, and they're asking when they can start camp.
Awesome. Love that. Thanks very much. Joining us from Houston is Nada. Nada, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing great. Thanks very much. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Nada.
Yeah, I'm Nada. I'm the Houston Camp Coordinator. This is going to be my 9th summer with Kidventure, and I've also, all 9 summers I've been with Leeds, and so I'm very excited for the Leeds program and expanding in other cities.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's great to have your insight on Leeds. I know We're super excited about Leads, among other programs this summer, but our Leads program for essentially middle school age kids is expanding to Austin and Houston. You have so much experience there, so it's great to have your insight today and your knowledge when it comes to the Leads program, and we'll touch on that here in just a little bit. So we'll bring everybody together. Good to see everybody and good to have everyone with us today. So the presentation today is really about day camp. We're going to focus on day camp. We're not going to get too terribly deep into the weeds with regards to what to bring to camp and the finer details, because we will have live streams and information about that as we get a little bit closer to the summer. Today what we want to do is we want to talk about all of our camp programs. We want to talk about what's going on in each camp city, offer some insight on each of those programs, what to expect from those programs in terms of curriculum and programming, those kind of things like that. We'll talk about a sample day, what that looks like for all of those camps, and we'll turn our attention to registration, things like registration, the new referral program, which is amazing and getting utilized tremendously right now, and then we'll open things up to a Q&A at the end. So if you have questions, which I know you might, I want you to put those into the comments section, and when we get to the Q&A section, we'll pull those questions out, answer those questions for you as well as we can. We are recording this, so if you happen to miss it, or you have a friend that wants to watch it, or family member, it's going to be saved. We'll keep it up on our YouTube channel. We'll put it on the website so that it's there for everybody, at least for the near future. So with that, I think, guys, I want to start out with the Kidventure video because I think it kind of sets the tone for the 30th year of camp. I'm going to switch to that right now, and then we'll join back up and take it from there.
Since 1994, Kidventure has been helping shape the lives of kids through the power of camp.
And provide each kid a safe, caring environment where they can grow happy and strong. Respect. Friendship. Kindness.
One of our most important goals is to teach a child that nothing in life is impossible. Courage. Confidence. Leadership.
The real power of camp isn't what takes place at camp. It's what kids take away from camp that matters. Honesty. Gratitude. Grit. And imagination. This is what we teach at Kidventure.
We invite you to be part of Kidventure's 30th year of summer camp.
Spaces are limited, so register today.
I don't get tired of that video. I got to be honest with you guys. I love that. That was Peggy in the video joining me there too as well. All right, so I guess what I'd like to do now, guys, is to get on with the presentation. So I'm going to switch screens to a presentation. We'll start that, and I want you guys to jump in and add your expertise and input wherever you feel necessary. Okay. As we mentioned before, this is our 30th year of camp. I cannot believe it, to be honest with you. When we started out in 1994, it was small. But it was the same today in terms of our goals and our mission. And I think that's really the foundation of what Kidventure is all about. And I tell people that all the time. You know, it's in the moment and when we're having camp, it's super fun, it's an adventure, it's great, but it's much more than that. And I think with that, I think it all kind of starts with our mission. And Ryan, do you want to kind of read that for everybody and enlighten us a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when I first came on with Kidventure, the mission is what really stood out to me. And it's something that we look at every day. We have it on the wall in our office. And it really drives all of our decisions and what we do. And so, Kidventure's mission is to help build the self-esteem and self-worth of every child through our every action. And I think that's important because that's what we drive with our directors, our counselors, is that everything we do at camp is for this mission to help kids, believe in themselves and have fun and have that confidence. Every child possesses the innate ability to learn and succeed. Our goal should simply be to lead children towards a happy, healthy, and responsible lifestyle. While succeeding in building physical skills is important, teaching children to love themselves and learn is one of life's greatest lessons. At Kidventure, we are more than just a camp, and that's very true. We're more than just camp.
So we have this saying at Kidventure. You see it a lot, and it's posted in our offices a lot. It's called the Kidventure Way, and it's kind of the way we handle ourselves. Because I believe that one of the best ways that you teach a child to do the right thing and to be brave and strong and courageous and kind and empathetic is to first be an example of that. If we can't, as counselors and directors and coordinators, carry that torch, then it's hard for us to believe that our kids can learn how to do that too as well. And that's what we call the Kidventure Way, right? It's this belief system or set of ideals, and it's what focuses our objectives and guides us through our decision process. It's the underlying factor to our success and the litmus test with which every decision that you make should be held up to, all right? And it all really begins with our values, right? Our core belief systems, right? What is it that we believe in, right? We believe that kids should be kind. We believe that kids should be courageous and be helpful and be honest. And it all starts with those. And then we teach that to our leadership of our directors and our counselors. We implement that in everything that we do, whether that's Gaga or it's archery or whether we're doing an art project. And why? Because that's the most effective way for us to teach our campers to be the best that they can be, right? Because what we're concerned at camp is outcomes, right? I'm more concerned with your child going home feeling great about themselves, having a greater sense of independence, having learned how to create and foster valuable friendships. That's what camp's all about. That's the power of camp. So everything that we do at Kidventure is very purposeful and intentional, with regards to that. And this year, we have portrayed that in this tree, right? And Ryan, elaborate on that a little bit more, will you please?
Yeah. So looking back at the last 30 years, what are those outcomes that kids get, right? There's Mike mentioned there's Gaga Ball field trips and all these activities, but at the end of the day, what these kids are taking from camp are friendships, respect, confidence, grit, right? To keep trying, persevering. Honesty, leadership, courage. Those are all the qualities of all of the things we do that are the outcomes we're looking for that kids take with them.
Yeah, and this tree has sort of become that sort of icon for the 30th year. Those tenets like friendship and respect and confidence, each week one of those we will focus on this year. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but we're really bringing that forward a lot more than we ever have before in the 30 years. So we're super excited about that. So just let me give you guys the lay of the land. We are running this year in 24 in Austin 7 individual campsites. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, 7 campsites, and in Houston we'll be running 14 individual campsites. All of those have at least one of our programs there, Discovers, Explorers, and Leads. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. We'll break that down for you guys so you understand that. But just sort of to give you an overview of camp. So here it is. These are the 3 programs in day camp that we run. They are going to start with the Discoverers, which is our early childhood camp for 3s, 4s, and 5s, right? It is amazing to me how much a 3, a 4, and a 5 can learn and do and accomplish in a camp day. Years ago, in 1994, we didn't have Discoverers. And if you'd asked me then, back in 94, that we should be running 3s, 4s, and 5s in a summer camp, I would have thought you were crazy. And now I can't imagine not having Discoverers as part of our camp programs. It's probably the fastest growing program that we have at Kidventure. It's amazing to see those guys just working and playing and involving themselves in a variety of activities. And that's our Discover program. When you complete kindergarten and you're going into first grade in the summer for the fall, you become an explorer, or they like to affectionately call each other red shirts. It's a big deal when you get to graduate from being a blue shirt to being a red shirt and leave your blue shirt behind, because now you're kind of a big kid, right? So Explorers is entering first through fifth grade. That is our school age program. Those are all broken down by age groups. All of our camp programs are broken down by age appropriate groups and separated out. And that's Explorers. And then finally Leads. Leads is our, let's call it middle school age camp program, separate from all the other two programs. They have their own staff, they have their own directors, their own curriculum, a much different focus than Explorers and Discoverers. And that's entering grade 6 through grade 9. We are proud to say, after, 17 years of running Leads in Houston, we are bringing you Leads to Austin and Dallas for 2024. We couldn't be more excited and pleased about that. I don't think there's another group, and I know that Nada can talk about this more here in a little bit, that probably needs the power of camp more than that age group. Anyway, it's an incredible program, and one we'll talk about here in just a little bit. So let's start with Discoverers. Who's gonna talk about Discoverers for us?
I will talk about Discoverers. So our Discoverers, like we said before, is our early childhood, 3 to 5. So they have not completed kindergarten, so even Kinderbridge have not completed kindergarten yet. And so these are our friends that are also fully potty trained. And we have a low ratio, 1 counselor per 6 campers. We find that those low ratios are really, really beneficial for all the age groups. They help build relationships with their counselors, and the campers just get more comfortable that way. So those are our small groups, and then they'll rotate into groups of 12, so all within that same age range. So the 3s will be together, 4s, 5s will be together. And in our Discover program, we really focus on safe and fun personal development. For a lot of these kids, it's their first time away from home. A lot of our 3-year-olds, some of them haven't gone to daycare yet, or they aren't in daycare yet. So this is a really big stepping stone for a lot of them, and it's the first time they're really independent from mom and dad. So it's a really important stepping stone for them. You see campers that have, first week or first day, they're really nervous, they're really scared, and then by lunchtime, they're having the time of their lives. So they're going to do lots of different fun things that are age appropriate, working on fine and gross motor skills, and working on just being happy humans.
Thanks, Molly. Explorers. Now this is our school age program again. Ryan, you want to talk about Explorers a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So our red shirts, our Explorers, is a fantastic group. We have a 10-to-1 ratio with that group as well. When kids start to get to this age, they're fostering friendships. They're very active, they're energetic, and so we really build our curriculum around that. So they'll travel in groups of 20 as they go through their activities. And really, when we're doing that, we're trying to focus on good character. We're really trying to bring that out and let kids know what they're doing well, and their self-worth. So they're playing games, they're going on field trips, they are being creative, they're exploring, and they're reflecting on everything that they're learning, as they do their activities.
And Ryan, can you talk a little bit about, when you have a group of kids, Explorers, let's say 50 or 80 Explorers in one large group, and they come in and there's kids that are 6 or 7 years old through 11, 12 years of age. How do we divide those kids up, and how's the program run? Because obviously 12-year-olds aren't playing, gaga with 6-year-olds, correct?
Yeah, everything is divided out by age. So that 1 to 10 ratio in those groups of 20, your 6 and 7s are in a group, 8, 9s, 10, 11s are all in a group. So each of those activities and games that we're playing is geared towards that age group and their ability to do that.
Great, awesome, thank you very much. Mm-hmm. All right, an overview on the Leads program, Nada. I know you've got so much expertise in Leads and spent so much time as a director for Leads programs before you became a coordinator. Talk to us about that program, please.
Yeah, so Leads is one of my favorite programs, and I like to call it my baby because it's really developed a lot in Houston. And so just like the Explorers, they have the 10-to-1 ratio with group of 20 campers and their own set of staff members that are lead specific trained. And with the LEAD program, we really focus on leadership, Character, community service is a big portion of leads. I think the most rewarding thing is when we take them to community service and they come back so happy that they did something good. And hearing the conversations between our leads after community service really shows that we're doing a good job to give back to others, that we're fortunate enough and we have a little bit of time to give back to everybody around us.
Yeah, it's interesting. One on the outside wouldn't think that a community service project would be a teen's favorite endeavor during a camp week, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it has become that for a lot of kids. Why do you think that's the case?
Middle school age is an interesting age. It's where they're really truly finding themselves and what they like. And sometimes through these community service, they take time to reflect on what they have. And they realize that, giving back is the most important thing because we have so many things. So in middle school, they're in that age where they're testing the boundaries a little bit with adults. And so being able to give back and see that everything that is going around them is due to their environment and their community.
Yeah, pretty powerful, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
when we set out to create leads many years ago, we wanted to create a program that was really unique for that middle school age kid. Yeah, that had a big social component, right? Because when you're in middle
Mm-hmm.
school, it's all about friends, right? It's all about having friends, making friends, keeping friends, saying the right things in front of friends. I mean, it's like consumes their time almost, right? So we wanted to create an atmosphere and an environment where friendships, really positive ones, could be fostered. Where we did a bunch of wild and crazy fun stuff, right? Like rock climbing and archer tag. We do all that kind of stuff. But then we also wanted to teach leadership skills. You mentioned that middle school age is like a crossroads, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's so important, right? If we give kids these positive things to do and contribute to and for, where they feel like they can impact change, I think that sets them on a trajectory that's long lasting, right? That can take them in a path to not only provide self confidence for themselves, but also to contribute to other people and be a factor in the world. That's where that community service piece came in from the get go. Like we knew that community service should be a part of that curriculum for those teens, and it's like turned into probably one of their favorite endeavors during the week, right?
Yeah, and it's turned to a really game changer for them because they're at the age where they know things and they're open to things. And so the conversations are more interesting. We keep them age appropriate, just like our explorers, but really growing leaders. And when we have leads at a site with explorers, our explorers really look up to our leads because they see doing these great things around site. They go out to do community service. So it's a really good program. I truly enjoy it. It's the age where they're really exploring as well. They start become interested in cooking and sewing, all these little habits. So it's a fun program for all middle schoolers. Even our staff truly enjoy it. It gives them a chance to reflect and really think about why we do what we do at camp with our middle school team.
Right. Some of those kids have grown up and gone on to become staff members of Kidventure too themselves, right?
Yeah.
Which is
Yes, that's I think that's my favorite part. I think the past 2 years I have staff members that were in leads programs with me. And so they always come back saying, "Oh, we really enjoyed you as a counselor. We really enjoyed our leads counselor," because it's the last thing that they remember as being campers.
right. Thanks, Nate. I really appreciate all that insight. Um, and here's some more pictures from the Leads program. I think they're doing community service, maybe the food bank down there at the bottom
Mm-hmm.
picture. All right, let's talk about the camp day. Now, whether it's a Discover or whether it's an Explorer or whether it's a Leads camper, we all pretty much have the same day. 8 to 3 o'clock is the camp day, Monday through Friday. Okay? So during the summer, every campsite is going to have a number of weeks, usually anywhere from about 8 to 10 one-week sessions of camp. Each of those weeks is unique, but they're always going to be Monday through Friday, with the exception of I think a couple days this summer. I think holidays, Juneteenth, I think is one, and the 4th of July this year. Drop-off is typically going to be around 7:45. Kids, it's all curbside drop-off, so parents will pull up, our staff greets everybody outside, we'll escort the kids into camp, and we'll get on with our day. At about 8:30, we have opening ceremonies. So think of opening ceremonies as like a big giant pep rally, right? It's loud. There's a lot of song. There's a lot of dance. There's skits on the stage. We're going over the rules of camp. On Mondays, we're introducing campers to their counselors and the rest of their group. Real important time is opening ceremonies because it really sets the tone for the day. Now, between 8:30 and lunch, think of it like morning rotations. So kids are divided up in those smaller groups of 10. They usually combine with another group of 10 to make 20. And if they're discovered, 2 groups of 6. Those are by age. And they're doing rotations. So they could be going to art or rock climbing or archery or athletics on the field. It just varies. And all of those agendas and schedules we'll have for you in a newsletter that we send out in the summertime. Lunch. Obviously, we all come back together to have lunch. And then it's afternoon rotations. Similar thing, different activities in the afternoon. And then pickup time is 3 o'clock. We reverse that process like we did from the morning. Kids will be escorted out curbside, put in your car to say goodbye, and then go home. And if your child is coming to post camp, which is an option for everybody, then that's 3 to 6 o'clock. They'll transition right into post camp for a separate curriculum and activities there, waiting for them to be picked up anytime between 3 and 6 o'clock. And that's kind of the day in general. Anything to add to that, Molly or Nada or Ryan?
One thing to add, so just keep an eye on your specific campsite because sometimes that drop-off time might be 8 o'clock. So just keep an eye out on that. And then just one question that we always get, or I always get here in Austin is, do I have to drop off during that drop-off time? Can I come later? Can I come, right as at 9 a.m. when those rotations are starting? My answer usually to that is we really encourage you guys to try to come during that drop-off time and be there for that opening ceremonies because that's really the introduction of the day. Kids are getting more comfortable. Of course, swim team, doctor's appointments, whatever always happens. But I think it's super important for campers to be there during that opening ceremony time and to even start to get and know their friends, know their counselors. It's kind of, a soft opening for them. So if you can make it during that time and to make it during opening ceremonies, I definitely would, strive for that. Things happen, but, and it's just easier on our staff as well, because then our directors aren't running back and forth back outside to pick up and takes time out. So if you can be there during that car line, that'd be great.
Great point, Molly. And if you got a doctor's appointment or you got swim team, just let us know so we have a heads up. We don't call you and we can expect you at a certain time and help accommodate that late pickup. So good point. All right, so let's I want to highlight you guys the program highlights. We do a lot between 8 o'clock and 3 o'clock, and then in post camp, way more than I'm going to go into detail with right now. But I do think it's important to highlight some of the things that each program will do during the week and over the course of the summer as well. And why don't we just pick it up like we did before? If you had Discovers, Molly, why don't you talk about the Discovers there?
Yeah. So Imagination Creative Centers, these are things that we do every single day. The type of center might change. So think of Imagination Centers as the dress up, the kitchen center, things like that, puppets. And these are just kind of times where the campers can, it's free play, of course, within boundaries. We put out certain things for them to play with, and they can kind of explore and be imaginative on their own without, us saying, oh, you have to do this in a certain way. Read aloud time. We will do read alouds every single day. We have a great variety of different books around that I've taken pride in personally. So a lot of different read aloud. Literacy from an early age is super important, and seeing adults that they look up to reading and interacting with books is always really important early on. Circle time. This is our right after we have our opening ceremonies. Will come in. This is typically when snack is. And this is a time where counselors really get to know their campers on an individual level before we start into those big activities. And then KV Lives, this is special for our Discoverers because we do not take them off campus for field trips. Our field trips come to them. So these are different guest speakers that might come, inflatables that might come. Here in Austin, I might have Tiny Tales come, or a bubble show, things like that to enhance our curriculum and really complement it. And so their campers can kind of get that feel of a field trip without leaving campus.
Molly, thank you very much. Go back to the reading. We implemented a program called the Novel Effect Reading Program a couple years ago. Can you speak a little bit about that reading program and what that's done to our read aloud time?
Yeah, so we have Novel Effect. And so this program is an app. A lot of school libraries have it, and it's great to have, at home as well. It follows your voice as you are reading a book, and it complements it with sound effects, which is really fun. It kind of enhances the reading experience. It makes the campers super excited because they just, ooh, what's the sound going to be? And they're really listening closely, and it just makes them more immersive. And our counselors have so much fun with it as well because they kind of go along with the voices. So it's enhanced our program to make it more interesting and to allow the campers to have fun with books.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Ryan, Explorers, you want to highlight that for us, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the things the explorers get to do, archery tag, which is a favorite. You've probably seen some pictures, arrows with a giant marshmallow on the end. So kids get to come together and play tag, where they get to shoot their friends and have a lot of fun. We have a director of that comes out, leads different types of game for them, make sure they're staying safe and having a good time. Rock wall is another thing that we do. So typically, I think we bring out a portable rock wall and kids get to climb. The greatest thing that I love about this is you see some kids that will climb a few steps and they're too scared to go any farther. They come back, a few more weeks and they're climbing to the top like it's nothing. So that confidence booster, that experience and adventure is really great when we get to do the rock wall. Team building is another thing we do. I think this is great because this fosters that um, team building in sense that kids are really competitive. We give them a task, something to do where they have to jump from island to island or complete a task. And it's really cool to see them come together and complete that, those different challenges that are given to them. And then I think one of the biggest things about that transition from being a Discover blue shirt to a red shirt is the field trips. So the explorers do go off site once a week to where they'll do a fun activity. We take big charter buses and go to fun places like water parks and museums and places like that.
That's great. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. And Nada, highlight leads for us a little bit. Some of the things that we do during that program in a week.
Yeah, so leads just like the explorers, they do archery tag, rock wall, team building, and field trips. But really, what pulls it apart is that corp discussion. So this is when we get to talk as a group and develop those leadership skills. Talk about courage. What does it take to have courage? What does it take to have grit? So that's our corp discussion. We have sport of the week, which varies every week. So it can either be a variation of basketball, volleyball, and this is really like a team effort. Not everybody is the greatest basketball player and not everybody's going to be the greatest volleyball player, but as a team they come together and highlight those skills they have. And of course, community service is another big piece of leads. An important thing to highlight that for community service, they don't always go off site. Sometimes they stay at their location and do something. A good example is last year we wrote Father Days cards for the nursing homes. So we got to decorate them and then send them out to nursing homes. But they also go off site. So they can go to the Buffalo Bayou Park, Houston Food Bank. So community service is a variation of things. And then we have our leads lounge, and this is like the centers kind of, but for big kids. So this is a time where they get to play games. They get to do their own art without any real instruction. They get to free and do it on their own and explore, communicate with each other, talk about their likes and dislikes, and really come together as a group and spend a little bit of time together.
Great. I appreciate that, Nada. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Special activities. I think we highlighted these a little bit, but I wanted to show you some images. Archery tag. I know, like parents when they first hear we're shooting bows and arrows at each other, like what camp would do this? It is actually one of the kids' favorite things to do. This is a modified bow and an arrow. It's got a big cushy. I think Ryan described it as a marshmallow on it, and so. The kids absolutely love it. And so we play a variety of games. Think of it as like tag with arrows. They wear like a protective face shield and have a blast. Rock wall, we bring out our own rock walls. Kids get to go rock climbing. It's a huge entertaining and powerful tool for us as well to teach confidence and courage and goal setting. And then team building. I'm a firm believer that if we don't teach our kids trust, cooperation, problem solving, communication when they're young, they have a really hard time doing it when they're 35 years old. So now's the time to teach them those tenets. And we use a variety of activities and apparatus in order to teach team buildings. Those change from week to week, and we focus on different things from week to week as well. Mentioned before too, the KV Live, those are guest speakers for our discoverers. These are outside third-party groups or organizations that provide something really unique, rewarding, and beneficial for our discoverers. We bring them in to share that talent and that skill and that opportunity with those kids. And it oftentimes complements our curriculum for that week. We tie it in with what we're doing and love that. Field trips, I can't tell you. This is probably one of the biggest, loves of our explorers and leads. We travel on big old full-size touring buses. If we just drove around all day long and cranked the stereo up, they would think that was the funnest thing in the world, but we actually go a lot of amazing, rewarding, and beneficial places too. They're all local field trips. We do that once a week. I want to reiterate that the discoverers, the 3s, 4s, and 5s, do not field trip. They stay on site the whole time. And then Splash Day. Everybody does a Splash Day or a version of Splash Day each week. Look, it's the summertime, it's camp. Not getting wet and having a blast and throwing water balloons up in the air and everything would be kind of a disgrace. So we love our Splash Days and have a great time doing it. All right. So that kind of gives you an idea about all 3 of those programs, hopefully, at least in general, from 20,000 feet. I want to talk about what is new for this year. A lot of you that maybe have been with Kidventure before kind of know all the stuff that we just previously talked about, but I want to touch on some things that are going to be different and new for this year. I think we mentioned this before, but the LEADS program is now expanded to Austin and Dallas. In Austin, that LEADS program is going to take place at Riverbend Church. If you live in Austin, you probably know where Riverbend Church is. That's where it's going to be. In Dallas, Ryan, you want to let us know where the LEADS program is going to be there?
Yeah, so we have a few options. We're going to do Camp All Saints in the Plano area, St. Patrick's in the Lake Highlands area, and then Kessler in South Dallas.
There you go. The camp store is now integrated with registration, which is a very good thing. Last year, you kind of left the Kidventure website, went to Shopify, ordered your stuff, and it was delivered. This year, everything is integrated into the registration itself. So when you choose a session of camp week for wherever that is, you can also purchase your camp shirts or hats or water bottles, that kind of thing there. We have a deadline to order from the online store. I think that's the 17th of May. If you make your order prior to the 17th of May, everything will be packaged up and brought to your first day of camp. Okay, that's how that's going to work this year. No shipping costs involved. We'll deliver your stuff right to you at camp, ready for you to go. After that, we will have some pop-up stores, and then every city's camp office will have a store there. You can drop by the camp office, say hi to us, and purchase any additional merchandise from the Camp City store. So there's the camp store. That's different for this year. We have enhanced our curriculum to provide more variety and new activities. We'll be doing new activities this year. Our curriculum is new for this year. I think that's important for our kids. Greater focus on character traits. I know I mentioned this earlier, but each week we're going to focus on one of those character traits, okay? One week might be courage, another week might be kindness, and we'll work with our kids on things. That will be a focus for that week. We still work on other character traits, but that is going to be one that we, really double up on and focus on. The lunch program is now in Dallas, so now we provide lunch as an option for you in all 3 cities. We're happy to say so. A lot of our kids order off the camp menus, but you can always bring a lunch too as well, okay? Specific information on the lunch program is on the website. Yeah, Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, that is, we do have a new caterer, so we are piloting that at select locations. So Camp All Saints, Camp Preston Hollow, Camp St. Pat's, and Camp Kessler will have that option for you.
There you go. Thank you very much, Ryan. And then lastly, the referral program. Let me tell you, this has been a huge thing for our campers and our parents so far. And essentially, it works like this. When you go to register for camp now, you automatically get a personalized registration link. Okay, it'll be at the bottom of your page and it'll be on your confirmation email. You have the ability to share that registration link with any family or friends through social media, SMS, email, however you want to share that registration link. When they register through your link, your account is automatically credited $10 per registration. If they register for 10 weeks, that's $100 credited to your account. They also get a $10 discount, okay? So, and I've looked at a lot of accounts so far, and there's a lot of people with a lot of credits in their account. That credit can be used towards tuition. It can be used towards merchandise. We love it, right? Because we know that the biggest fans of Kidventure are the ones that come to Kidventure, right? And we wanted to try to motivate you a little bit more to spread that word and to bring Kidventure, but also reward you at the same moment too as well. So I'd love your feedback on that program. Let me know how it's going, and we think it's a great deal. When it comes to registration, let's talk about that a little bit. If you've not registered for Kidventure, you've not gone through that process before, it's pretty easy. You can go. Most people typically will go to their city page, Austin, Dallas, Houston, or Leeds. And anywhere on those pages, you'll see a Register Now button. Click that button, and it will take you to the registration portion of the website, where you can select your weeks, fill out your information, create an account if you've not already done so, and select any options that you might want. All we require for camp is a deposit per week of $100. That's applied towards your tuition, and your final balance is due 10 days prior to each week attending. Okay, you can always transfer a week, not a problem, as long as there is availability. If a particular session has a wait list, which some have wait lists already, get on the wait list, right? It doesn't cost you anything to get on a wait list, and you will automatically be contacted when a space automatically becomes available, right? You'll have 48 hours to respond to that. If you don't respond in 48 hours, it'll move to the next person, okay? But we give you 48 hours, okay? In addition to camp, I alluded to options. Those are camp lunch, post-camp, and merchandise. Those are all things that you can add on with your sessions. Did I miss anything, crew, on that one?
No, I think it's also important to note that on your option sessions for post camp and lunch, you don't necessarily have to do it at the time of registration if you still don't know of your plans, as long as you give us a call beforehand.
Yeah, super. And look, if you
One
get
more.
go ahead. And if you get in a bind, it's not like if you didn't sign up for post camp and you're late picking up your child, rest assured we're not going to leave them on the curb for you. Okay, they're going to roll into post camp. They're going to have a great time with us, and we'll get the post camp thing settled up later. But I know that's a great point, Nada, that a lot of people don't know if they're going to need post camp right now in February. You can always add that. Go ahead, Molly.
And they can go back into their account and add it at any time too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then another additional thing with the options when you're registering, I know some families, they're doing more than one child, and with 8 to 10 weeks, and you need post camp every single week, or you want lunch every single week. Make sure to go ahead and double check that you are clicking it for each week you want it. Looking at some accounts, I see that someone has lunch for 6 weeks, and then they don't have a lunch signed up. So just double check those, because it won't automatically do it each time for each new session that you sign up for. So make sure you're clicking those to make sure you have everything set for each week. And when you get that confirmation email after you finish registering, just double check your receipt and make sure you have everything you want for each session, and then let us know if we need to add that on for you.
Great. Thanks, Molly. All right, we have reached that point in time where we have Q&A. And I know we have some questions on there, so I'm going to leave this open to everybody, so feel free to chime in, you guys, when we get to that question. If for some reason we don't get to your question, we're always here, Monday through Friday. So feel free to pick up the phone, call us, or email us, okay? I want to apologize once again for the trouble we had connecting to the main Facebook page. I think we ended up getting in the Facebook group page. For some reason, our main Facebook page, it wasn't up, but it was on YouTube. We posted on YouTube. We posted on Facebook the link to YouTube, and so hopefully you got over YouTube or our group page and got this. And once again, we are recording this, and we'll post that, okay? Apologize for that, you guys. one of the questions is, do you partner with any businesses for lunch for the kiddos, Simply Fresh or similar, where parents can order and it's delivered? The answer to that question is yes. In all 3 cities now, we partner with a local vendor. We have really vetted our catering services. We want. I'm very big on very healthy food, but also food that kids like to eat as well. Striking that balance can sometimes be tricky, but I feel like at least in Austin and Houston, thus far, we've done a really good job. Our lunches have been very popular. The kids seem to love them, and I consider those lunches really healthy too as well. Information on the lunches are on our page, so you can find the menus, a sample menu of those on our landing pages. If you go to the FAQ at the bottom of the page, I believe they're there. And there's another link on that page. Just look for lunch, where it's hyperlinked, and you can click on the lunches, get a sense of what we are serving for your kiddos during the week. Okay. What keeps camp fresh for the camper who comes every week? That's a great question. Why don't y'all answer that one, okay?
Yeah, that's a good question. So curriculum does change every week for all programs. We do go based on the same, like different character traits, but this year what's going to be fun is that we're all going to be doing the same character traits. So our discoverers are going to be focused on friendship, but so we are going to do the same thing with explorers and leads. But curriculum's different every week. Our books are going to be different for our discoveries every week, and the field trips are different every week, so that makes it refreshing and fun, something for them to look forward every week.
Yep. Next question. Do I need to provide a nap mat for my Discover camper? Great question. Discover's 3, 4s, and 5s to refresh your memory, early childhood. We don't make kids nap. You could have never made me nap when I was of that age. There's no way. But for kids that nap, they do nap. So we accommodate our nappers and we accommodate our kids that don't nap. So if your kid is a napper, bring a nap mat. We'll keep it there all week long. You can go home with it on Friday. If you think your kid might nap, bring a nap mat, okay? You will be surprised. We are a very active camp program. When our kids go to nap, they nap hard. Put it that way. But if your kid is one of those kids that just has that nap like clockwork every day, that is going to happen for them, okay? And I think we even asked that in the registration form. Do we not, Molly or Nada?
Yes. Yeah, we do. We ask, we call it chill time. So you can put in there, if you indicate that you want your camper to nap or not to nap. So if they are going to nap, please provide that nap mat. We won't have any. And then make sure that it is labeled with their names, please. I find a lot of sailboat and dinosaur nap mats, and they don't know which is theirs either. So please label them. That non-nap, we call chill time. They'll do more calmer activities, like we might put on some calming music, or we might put on, do some puzzles, some coloring. We'll bring out books for them to look at. So just more quiet time to reset ourselves.
Great. Next question. Is there a version of Explorers that does not involve field trips off campus? There is not a version of Explorers, and we get this question a lot. I have some parents that are nervous about their child going on a field trip. My response to you would be this, that our field trips are conducted in such a way over the course of the last 30 years that we choose places that we feel very comfortable and safe at, where we can keep our kids well organized, that are rewarding and beneficial for our kids. Our transportation on full-size touring buses is probably the safest transportation you can be on, with seat belts as well. If you have particular questions about a field trip and you haven't explored, I just urge you to call and talk to one of our coordinators or one of our managers and let us fill you in on that and how we run that field trip. I will tell you that that's probably one of their favorite things for the week. They wait for the field trip. If at the end of the day you still don't want your child to go on that field trip, you'll just need to keep them home that day because they can't stay with the Discoverers. Plus, no explorer really wants to hang out with the 3-year-olds anyway. So that would be my answer to that one. And thank you very much for that. Okay, next question. Is it possible to pick up shirts early? And the question to that, the answer to that question right now is no. And part of that is that we're taking orders between now and May 17th, and then from May 17th until June 2nd, let's call it, we are organizing all of those orders and putting those together. I don't believe we're going to get to the shirts until after the 17th, but call us after the 17th. If we can get that order together for you, then we'll try to make an exception and do that for you, okay? But I can't make that commitment right now in February, given the new system, because we want to make sure that we get this right for everybody, okay? I have a child with eczema and need to wash clothes before wear to prevent flare-ups. Have a child with eczema and need to wash clothes before we wear to prevent flare-ups. Oh, I see what you're saying. So that's a second part of that question, is what that is. Yeah, I mean, I think the answer to that question is call us. On situations like that, like, you know, medical situations or situations with the health of the child, let's see what we can do. Call your office and let's talk privately on that one, okay? For sure. Thank you for that. I understand that question now a little bit better. Are the shirts going to be mailed prior to camp or distributed the first day? Distributed the first day. They will not be mailed, okay? We will have your shirts ready for you on the first day, okay? Are we still getting a free shirt this summer? We are not getting a free shirt. What we did was we took the cost of our shirts at $20 and we reduced those all the way down to $12 this year. We made the cost of all of our merchandise much cheaper because of that. We had a very difficult time tracking that free shirt, and it really became almost a little bit of a nightmare for us in camp. So the alternative for that was us to go ahead and let's just slash the prices of all our shirts. In the end, you'll save more money that way than if we gave you one free shirt, okay? All right. Do you ever offer post-camp for particular days, or do we have to pay for the post-camp for the entire week? Post-camp is offered. That's a great question, by the way. Post-camp is offered on a weekly basis, but we keep the price of post-camp low for that reason. So, Molly, remind me, cost of post-camp?
Is $45 for the entire week per child.
So it's $45 for the entire week. That's whether or not you use that a couple hours here or you use that the entire time, okay? There you go. Does the lunch option accommodate for allergies? Y'all want to answer that question for me?
Yeah, well, here I'll answer for Austin. So here in Austin, yes, we do accommodate for allergies. So that could, whether it's soy, dairy, peanut, and here in our kitchen in Austin, we prepare everything in a nut-free facility. So if you need any allergens, please note that on your registration form, and then also note for us in Austin, if you're registering for Austin, it'll have a gluten-free option that you can click on, a dairy-free option that you can click on as well. And then also just lunch in general, so across all cities, we have what we call our Captain KV table. That's our allergy table. So we encourage campers with severe food allergies to sit at that table. And then friends, even if you don't have an allergy, please sit at that table so no one feels left out. And then before the campers all start to eat, we double check all of the lunches of everyone sitting at that table to make sure there are no allergens present. And then we'll move campers accordingly. The other cities can speak on their catered lunches.
Yeah, so in Houston, we do Simply Fresh, and we actually post the menu on the website for June and July. So you'll be able to see what's on the menu each day of the month. The menu is pork free. It doesn't really accommodate allergens, but like I said, for the week, you're able to see what they're going to serve that week.
Yeah, and that's the same for Dallas. We'll be pork free and steer away from nuts as much as possible, but we'll have our menus up on the website as well.
And in the menu, the sample menus right now are on the parent guide, frequently asked questions. And I think the question says, is lunch provided? If you click on that, it gives each city's sample menu right now.
It also has, if you go to each landing page for each city, there's that big red box that has info. It'll have kind of the arrows of what we have, each of the offers, and then lunch will be hyperlinked. So there should be a menu in there.
And Sandra, who I know is listening in, Sandra, if you can post a link to the lunch options on the website for people in the comment section, that would be great. I think that'd be helpful too as well. Next question is, are parents able to go on the field trips or meet the groups at the location? Okay, that's a question we get. The answer to the question is, well, first of all, you can't ride on the bus with us, but you can meet us there. If you decide you want to meet us there, let us know in advance, okay? I've had situations where I've had parents show up, they didn't tell us, and all of a sudden it looks like we have a strange person walking up to our kids, okay? That's not something we want to happen. So coordinate with us and let us know, so that we can fill you in on the details and help try to coordinate with you, okay?
We ask too, if you do come on the field trips, to try not to be integrated too much into the group, just because it's kind of a distraction for the kids and for the counselors. And so we're trying to stay focused on where we're going. You can shadow us, no problem. But if you're going to take your camper, if you're going to take them away early or anything like that, please let your campsite director know, because we have to keep our record of who's here and our numbers as well.
Great. A great question, by the way. I love this, and I'm gonna add it to the broadcast because I think it's great. What separates you from other summer camps? I think there's several things that separate us from other camps. Look, at the end of the day, you can have the greatest camp facilities, you can have the best equipment, you can have rock climbing walls and gaga pits and everything else, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't make it a great camp. The most important part of the summer camp experience for your child and for you is the quality of the staff, okay? And from day one, 30 years ago, we made it a point to hire, train, and staff the best summer camp employees, right? Because that's where the magic is in summer camp. That's where the safety in summer camp is. That's where the rewards from summer camp happen. The vast majority of our camp staff are educators. This is teachers with their summers off, education students, related fields, or coaches. That's where we recruit from. Why? Because they're people that want to make a difference in the lives of kids. They want to spend their life doing that, and what better place to get that done than summer camp? Everyone at Kidventure, and this is not the norm in the industry, is first aid and CPR certified. Everybody has criminal background checks nationally every year. Everyone goes through extensive training. Everyone is in a uniform with a name tag. And everyone, most importantly, loves kids and wants to be there because they want to make a difference in the lives of others. That's first and foremost. The second reason is we've got 30 years, 3 decades of experience running summer camp. We understand how to run summer camp, and it starts with safety, number one. You run a safe camp program, and then you build that as a foundation from there. The third is we run camp because of the outcomes, not because of the camp in that moment, okay? And when you do that, you create camp a certain way. Our goal is to send a kid home at the end of the camp day, at the end of the camp week, at the end of the camp summer, with a greater sense of self-esteem, self-worth. We want them to have had a chance to make friends, right? To experience that, to have confidence in doing that. We want them to try things. We want them to succeed at camp. And oh, by the way, kids are going to fail at camp, and that's okay too, and we learn through that as well, okay? Camp is this amazing place that's not school, it's not home. A counselor is not an adult, it's not a kid. And because of that, you have this incredible opportunity to influence kids and be a power and a force in their life for good. And when you do that, you create camp with those intentions and that purpose in mind. And I think that's unlike any other camp program to the extent that we do that. So thanks for that question. All right, I think you guys have found the link on there for the page, the lunch, it's on there. I think I've run through all the questions that we have in here. Is there one more?
There's one question, yeah, about 5-year-olds
Yes.
and when they can be an explorer.
Yes.
So to answer this question, if your camper has completed kindergarten, and they're going into first grade, that's when they become an explorer. I know we get a lot of questions about Kinder Bridge. My camper has finished Kinder Bridge. They're 5 years old, they're advanced, they're mature. Can they please go to explorers and be with their older sibling? But with Kinder Bridge, they're going into kindergarten, they're not going into first grade. So they have to be going into first grade in order to do explorers. This is a safety aspect, a developmental aspect. So please keep that in mind when you're registering. If your camper is going into first grade, yay, they're a red shirt. If they're not going into first grade, then they're going to stay with our blue shirts and have one more year under them, and they're still going to have a blast at camp no matter what program they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, in the Discover program, 3s, 4s, and 5s aren't grouped together. Developmentally speaking, age appropriately speaking, it wouldn't be right to do that, right? So our 5s are separated out from our 3s, and our 4s are separated out as well too. They come together for certain things. But one project at camp can be scaled down or scaled up depending on the age, okay? So rest assured that 5-year-old is going to be getting a developmentally appropriate activity based on their age, not the younger kids in the class, okay? So I think that's important to note as well, all right?
And our counselors and directors are great about enhancing things and gearing things up depending on the group of campers that they have as well.
Right. Another question just came in. Field trips at every camp that's an Explorer and a Leads. Discovers, let me say it again. Please don't mix my words up. Discovers do not field trip. You couldn't pay me enough money to take your 3-year-old on a field trip, okay? So let's take that one off the table. But our Explorers and our Leads programs, they do have a field trip, okay?
And it will be
All right.
posted on the page with their
Yeah.
specific location.
Yeah, we would love to have all of our field trips up right now. The problem is some places don't take reservations this early in the season. But as we make those reservations, if you go to your specific page, go to the map on your landing page, find your campsite, click on details, you'll have a list of field trips or a place where that field trip is going to be inputted in there. And as we make those reservations for field trips and for guest speakers too, for Discovers, they will be in there so you can see those, okay? So you can come back and forth. And we'll update you guys on the app as well. Oh, that reminds me of the app. We didn't talk about the app. If you've not downloaded the Kidventure app, download the Kidventure app. It's how we communicate with you in the summertime. Well, it's one of the ways we communicate with you in the summertime, through push messages and notifications. So that's there for you as well. All right. That's an Apple Store and also Google Play as well. Just search Kidventure Camp app. And it's a free app, and you use the same credentials that your camp account is to log into your app, okay? We also post pictures in the summer each week so you can kind of keep up with us at camp and see what's going on at camp too as well, all right? All right, I appreciate everybody. Once again, sorry about the disconnection with Facebook. I'm glad those of you who were here, hope you got over to YouTube or the Facebook group page, which is our families page. Thank you very much. From all of us at Kidventure, I'm so excited about the 30th year of summer camp. And really excited because I get to share that with the kind of staff that you see in front of you with Ryan, Molly, and Nada, and everybody at Kidventure. So from all of us at Kidventure, thank you all very much. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to call us. A lot of the weeks are filling up. Some of our camps, we have wait lists now. If you can make your plans now, it's probably better to make them now than later, but you can always add weeks as we have availability. Thank you all very much from all of us, and we hope everybody has a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.